Do you want to know what to include in your goat kidding kit so that you can make sure that your goat's beautiful kids come into this world safely and be as prepared as possible for that kidding process? Hi, I'm Merrick from Just One More Story Farm, and these little babies were just born a couple days ago, and I'm going to share with you what I had in my kidding kit, as well as what I actually ended up using, and if there's anything else I would have liked to have had in my kidding kit. My goat, Fancy Nancy, she's a 2-year-old Nigerian dwarf goat, and she had twin boys, so we've got 2 bucks here. And they are doing fantastic. She had a normal delivery. It was her first time and she did great. Both babies came out presenting head first and both hooves forward. I couldn't have asked for a better first time kidding. Her labor was 11 hours. After 20 minutes of actively pushing, she was able to push these babies out within 5 minutes of each other. So pretty impressive. My babies, you want to show them what's in the kit? For my kidding kit items, I put them in an igloo cooler only because it is easy to roll it out to the goat pen. It's on wheels, kind of like a rolling suitcase, so that was nice. I also liked that it was sturdy and something that I definitely took breaks and sat on. You're not supposed to sit on these coolers, but I totally did. I liked that the lid was a pop-top lid. At least during the kidding process, my goats didn't figure out how to open this up, so that was nice that they were rummaging through my kidding kit. So being that Fancy Nancy had a normal birth where she didn't need my assistance, I didn't need to go in there, I was just there for moral support and there to catch the babies. And so what I used from my kidding kit the most was towels. I definitely used a lot of towels. I used 3 total. I had 2 babies, but they soaked through the towels pretty quickly, so I was happy I had that 3rd towel. Honestly, I could have used 4 or 5 towels. Extra towels, definitely something I would put on the list. Also, paper towels I used to help with cleaning up as well. Baby wipes was really great to have for cleanup. Birth is a beautiful process, but it is messy, so having those was really nice. I went through a lot of gloves. I changed my gloves frequently, especially with each baby being born. It's very slimy, so nice to have. If you have lighting in your goat barn or goat shed, that can be really helpful. I'm fortunate that I have electricity out here in the goat shed, so that really helped with visibility, being able to see. But just in case, I had a headband flashlight in case I needed to be able to see better what was going on when delivering these cute babies. Thankfully, I didn't have to use it. This nasal aspirator did get a lot of use. For each baby that was delivered, I used this to remove the liquid that they swallowed. So when babies are born, they can swallow the amniotic fluid as they're coming out. And so using this to suction that out of their nose and mouth can help. That really helped to make them more comfortable. So I definitely would recommend one of these. Before putting on my gloves to assist with the labor, I did keep Purell on hand to use quickly. Before putting my gloves on, I also have a sink and soap station right outside the goat shed to be able to wash my hands. You just want to make sure your hands are as clean as possible when you are going to assist with these new babies being born. After the babies were born, we got them all dried up and their mama licked them clean, and then she nursed them while she was waiting to deliver her placenta. Once mama was all done with those duties, we gave her some probiotic plus. So this just helps to deliver some probiotics to the mama goat to help her to get her rumen back on track after pregnancy and labor. We gave this to the newborn baby goats as well, and Fancy Nancy loved the taste of this. The baby goats, they were not impressed. For dosing, we just followed the recommendations on this tube, which was 1 to 2 mLs for newborns and 5 mLs for adult goats. We also gave Fancy Nancy some molasses mixed into her water. That just helped give her a little bit of a boost after being so tired after labor. Fancy Nancy did nibble at their umbilical cords to try to shorten them up, but they were still pretty long, so we did go in and use some scissors that we had wiped down with isopropyl alcohol prior to using them, and we trimmed up the baby's umbilical cords. Once they were trimmed, we dipped them in iodine, and so that is to help to keep infection at bay. We had poured the iodine into this little shallow dish, so that way we could just use that to dip the umbilical cord in there once it was cut. There are iodine sprays that you can use just to spray it on the umbilical cord, so you could do that as well. Or use a cotton ball or a swab to put some on there. Whatever you would prefer. I did have cotton balls just in case the shallow dish didn't work out so well. And this is the 70% isopropyl alcohol I used to disinfect the scissors. Another item that I use that is not in the kitting kit anymore is a large blue tarp. I did put down a blue tarp just because of all of the fluids coming out. It was nice to have the waterproof blue tarp just to catch some of that fluid and get it out of the shed. And I did have a big bag of shavings, so I could remove any shavings that got soiled and put in new shavings. So that was nice to have that option. Things that I did not use was Jumpstart Plus. I had this on hand just in case Fancy Nancy got too tired during a difficult labor and just needed a little boost. She did get tired during her labor, but it didn't stop her, and she was able to have her kids within the 30 minutes. So we did not need this, but I'm glad I had it on hand just in case you need it in the moment. I did not have to go in and assist her with repositioning the kids. The kids came out in the ideal position. So I had these shoulder length gloves on hand just in case. I'm happy I had them because in the moment if I needed it, it's something you want to have on hand. I also did not need lubrication. I had a bottle of lube on hand in case I had to go in with those shoulder length gloves. I wanted to make sure my gloves were well lubricated. I did not use this, but definitely something I would recommend having in case of emergency. Thermometer. I did not use a thermometer, but in case I was worried about how Fancy Nancy was doing, if she seemed lethargic and not doing well after or before kitting, it's always nice to be able to check their temperature to report to a veterinarian. It's really important in case of an emergency you have your veterinarian's phone number for your goats, so having your phone to be able to call in case of an emergency, have those numbers ready on hand. That way you are fully prepared in case you need your vet. Items that I do not have in my kitting kit that I would like in future kitting kits. One item that I would like to add to my kitting kit would be a bottle and nipple set, just in case the mama goat doesn't take to the kids. If she were to reject one or multiple kids and you needed to get milk to them, it's important that you would have a bottle and nipple on hand. I was very fortunate that Fancy Nancy, her first time, she loves her babies. She nursed them right away, and they had a little trouble figuring it out at first, but with persistence they did figure it out and they've been nursing well. It would be nice to have a bottle and nipple on hand just in case in the future we have a goat that rejects one or more babies. That way we can milk her and fill the bottle and make sure that those babies get colostrum, because it's really vital that those babies get colostrum right away. The last item that I am going to be adding to my kitting kit would be a kid puller or lamb puller. That is a loop that you can use if you had a lamb or a kid that got stuck in the birth canal, that you could help them out using that loop. I'm hoping that it's something that I never have to use, but you never know. It's better if you were in that kind of emergency situation where you could not get that kid to come out, that you have a backup option of using a kid pulling loop. So now you know. Lots of items that you can put in your kidding kit. Some things you're going to use, some will be just as emergency use only, and it's just great for the peace of mind to have all those things ready to go before the kidding date is scheduled. Goats can have their babies early, typically about 5 days before or 5 days after their expected kidding date, but sometimes they surprise you, so better to have that kidding kit all ready to go at least a month before your kidding date. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer them. And as a community, if anyone has any suggestions for other items for the kidding kit, let's come together and help each other out, so that way we can be as prepared as possible for our kids. If you would like to see Fancy Nancy deliver her 2 beautiful twin boys, we have a video called First Time Goat Kidding. You should check it out. And if you haven't started your farm yet, what are you waiting for? Get your farm on.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you want a farm? A wicked awesome farm? Watch this channel to learn what to do. We love to farm